Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's Fronius webinar. Today, we will have a very deep insight, first deep insight in our new commercial inverter, our Fronius Tauro, which will complete our product segment also in the commercial inverter range. Good. Your Fronius team today consists of me. My name is Sandro. I'm from Team Trainings and Education in Wels in Upper Austria at the headquarters of Fronius International. And on the other end of the line today is my colleague, Chris Schierlinger. He is also in Team Trainings and Education too, and he will support me today throughout the chat. That means if you have got any specific questions related to Fronius or related to my presentation regarding the Fronius Tauro, please just feel free to type them in and ask them to Chris. He will afterwards also join live and point out the most interesting questions for us all. Before I start this webinar today, I have prepared a very quick poll for you. I will blend it in now, so you must see it already. I want to ask you following question. Do you already have experience with Fronius commercial solutions? For answering possibilities are there. That means possibility number one, yes, I have already realized Fronius commercial solutions, maybe in combination with our Fronius Simo and Fronius Echo. Second possibility, not yet, but many customer requests. Third possibility, no, I am generally more into residential PV installation. And the last one, commercial PV, is completely new to me. I see many of you voting already. But very pleased if you could give me an answer on that. I will close the poll in approximately some seconds and show you, of course, the results. Then we can directly jump into the topic. Good. I see most of you already voted. Thanks for your participation. I will now close the poll and, of course, show you the result. What was the outcome of the poll? Around about 63% have already realized Fronius commercial solutions. Around about 1/4, not yet, but many customer requests, and the rest of you voted for commercial PV is completely new to me. Thanks again for your participation. Always very interesting for me and for my team, of course, for the upcoming slides and the webinar. Good. Commercial PV. A large-scale PV system is not built for no reason, because there are certain basic requirements that a commercial system must meet in order to fulfill certain motivations. And that's effectively why I want to highlight some terms which often pop up more or less if we talk about commercial PV installation. So what's the motivation behind it? Principally, it's all about money. I think that's clear. We want to realize the lowest TCOs. That means the lowest total costs of ownership possible, and of course to generate the maximum yields with our commercial PV installation. High yields, of course, behind a commercial PV installation. There are frequently investors behind, and they, of course, are looking for a high yield and, of course, a rapid amortization. That means those three terms go more or less hand in hand, and we really want to focus on such cost effectiveness, on such high yields, on such a rapid amortization with our overall new project inverter at the Fronius Tauro. But before we really go into deep regarding the Tauro, I want to look a little bit into the cost structure. That means what do the costs consist of regarding commercial PV installations. I think this is very, very important to know, and these are very, very often terms which come up with regard to commercial PV installations, and I think that's very important to clarify in advance. Principally, we often talk about CapEx. That means that are the initial costs customers have to take when they want to realize a commercial PV installation, the capital expenditures. On the other hand, there are the so-called OPEX costs that are the operational expenditures. These are the costs the PV system is causing during its lifetime. It means O&M, operation maintenance, comes here into the play, and also maybe some service processes and some random services which have to be taken into account when the PV system is already built. And together, CapEx plus OPEX form the so-called TCOs. These are the total costs of ownership. So that's kind of a holistic approach we have got. And effectively, these TCO costs, this is the cost structure we are here with Fronius focusing and targeting with our new commercial inverter, the Tauro. But let's look a little bit into the CapEx costs a little bit more detailed. So what are the costs investors have to take, our customers have to pay for? And if we consider, I would say, typical PV installation, this is the cost structure which we are confronted. On the one hand, the largest point here are the PV modules with approximately 44% of initial costs. The highest cost factor are the PV module for cost, the PV generator itself. The second big part of this cake, more or less, are the so-called BOS costs. These are the balance of system costs, and there are many things are come into the game, like cable trays, AC cabling, and so on. All these costs are gathered within this part of the cake into the BOS costs, which make up 33% of the overall CapEx costs. Labor costs is around about 15%. That means that's, of course, highly depending on the country you are living in. In some countries, it's more expensive, and in other countries, it's cheaper, the labor costs. And only 9%, that means the lowest, the smallest part of the cake is covering actually the inverter, but you always have to be sure the inverter is only around about 10% of the CapEx costs, but of course it's 100% responsible for the overall yields throughout the whole lifetime and for the overall performance of the PV system. Therefore, the right choice of the inverter is, of course, very, very important. Yes. And I told you with the Tauro, we really had a deep insight into these so-called BOS costs. Like I mentioned before, PV modules make up 44% of the overall cost structure, and the BOS costs are right behind with 33%. And as we are no PV module manufacturer and we cannot affect here the prices on our own, we really said with Fronius Tauro, we want to focus on this BOS cost level and therefore design our product the best way that we can save the most money, where it also makes the most sense and it has the greatest part of the overall cake. Balance of system costs in detail. So I told you before already. So these are all consists of several parts, like here the mounting frame, racking systems, AC DC cabling, combiner boxes, also mains connection. So all these parts are kind of found together in this term of the BOS costs, and therefore we see here the greatest savings potential. That means with the right choice of your system design, with the right choice of inverter, you can effectively save money on BOS costs, and therefore we focused on that with our Fronius Tauro. So our contribution now to optimize this BOS costs and this total costs of ownership throughout the whole lifetime is then our overall new commercial inverter, our Fronius Tauro. You can see him here, so that's effectively the hardware. So hard shell, smart core, that's more or less the slogan of the Fronius Tauro. And I will present you today within this presentation the hard facts about our new robust commercial inverter. We will launch effectively two different principal kinds of Tauro. So basically, we will launch the Fronius Tauro in standard version. So the Fronius Tauro standard will be available in the power class of 50 kilowatts AC output power, and it will be available with an MPPT voltage range from 400 to 870 volts. The Fronius Tauro will be equipped with 3 independent MPP trackers and therefore be a key part, of course, for our future commercial inverter portfolio. The second Tauro is the Fronius Tauro Eco. So we had the Fronius Tauro Standard, and we will additionally launch also the Fronius Tauro Eco. Actually, it's the complete same hardware, so it looks like the Fronius Tauro, but it will be available in the power classes 50 and 100 kilowatts. As it's already the name says, it's an eco variant. That means it's more economic. It's really more cost effective also from the hardware design. Therefore, it has got a slightly limited MPPT voltage range ranging from 580 to 930 volts. And it is it has got one MPP3 tracker. That means in combination with the Fronius Tauro Standard and the Fronius Tauro Eco, we have got a perfect portfolio how you can realize your most cost-effective system design for your customers. The key facts about the Tauro, yes, we have a really reliable product design. That means if you have stand one time before the Tauro, so it's a very, very robust inverter. So the hardware is designed in a very durable manner, and also on power electronics level, we really designed it that it can really withstand the harshest conditions and is really designed for the unprotected auto area. We have got many onboard features. That means the Tauro is very compact and it has got also some very new features with regard to Fronius. It means the first time ever we have a power stage system. That means on the left part of the inverter, you can see it here, depending on the inverter type, whether it's a 50 kilowatt device or a 100 kilowatt device, it is equipped with 1 or 2 power stages. That means they can easily also be servicized and exchanged, and that's also a unique system of the Fronius Tauro. It's a very spacious product design, so we will have later also insight into the connection areas of the Tauro. So we have got, on the one hand, you can really work on a proper way. That means you have easy access to all our cabling connections and also to the to the inner life of the inverter, and also some space for possibilities is provided. Just think of an DC SPD or something like that that can be easily implemented in a very spacious way. And smart, so smart product design. So we will also rely with our Tauro on our active cooling technology. That means we also have, in addition, a new wall concept. That's the so-called double wall system, which is again to ensure the highest performance. I will come to that later on. What's the double wall system of the Tauro? I repeated it multiple times. We want to save BOS costs with the Tauro, and now I will effectively show you in the presentation how we can save BOS costs with the Tauro and how this is possible. Principally, we have got a huge design flexibility. That means there are a lot of different options with the Tauro where you can really make intelligent system design, and according to your customer needs, you can design whether if you have got a central system design or a decentralized system design. What does this mean? Maybe you have already came across two letters. It's called D and P. That's also the first option you have to choose when ordering a Tauro, whether it's a precombined or a direct variant. The precombined is for a central system design. That means if all the inverter are very close together, for example, in a very spacious room, or the decentralized system design, easy to remember. Decentralized stands for direct. Therefore, you can directly connect the MC4 plugs of the DC strings to our Fronius Tauro device. Also, innovative design options. We have, on the one hand, on the DC side, you can decide whether precombined or direct, but also on the AC side, we have got a very, very innovative design option, and you can also design it individually, what to choose, and therefore one term, which is called AC-DC chaining, is also completely new when coming to the Fronius Tauro. And also from the flexible cable connections, therefore we have really a huge possibility. That means we can connect starting from 35 square millimeters to 240 square meters of AC cable directly to our inverter, to the Fronius Tauro. So therefore you do not need any special tools, special torque or something like that. That's a really easy way of installation, also with these flexible cable connections. Yes, staying at this cable cross section topic, why is this so important? So when you take into consideration economic calculations about commercial PV installations, you all the time have to deal with losses. And of course, we want to keep the losses as low as possible. And if you have to overcome big distances, that means if there is, because of the location, you have to overcome such big distances. Therefore, it's very important that you choose the right cable cross section in order to keep the losses as low as possible. The cable type is also open to you, so you can connect aluminum and copper cable to our Fronius Tauro, so they are fully flexible, and no need of additional AC combiners is also not required. That means due to the voltage drop, there is no need of additional combiners. And like already mentioned, no special tools are required. That means the Tauro can be installed with random tools. Every installer is normally equipped with. Good. Saving BOS costs. Therefore, we have got another fantastic potential for those BOS cost savings, and that's in fact the so-called AC-DC chaining. That's a unique system design with our AC-DC chaining option. It means that's also completely new. And to keep it short, what is the AC-DC chaining? So it's a connection, an interconnection of multiple Tauros on the AC side. You can see it here in the drawing. In order to keep the cabling and the distances as low as possible, we just interconnect multiple Tauros on the AC side, and then we go collectively to the transformator, and therefore we really save on cabling and also on losses. How many Tauros can therefore be interconnected? So up to 200 kilowatts of AC output power can be interlinked, and that's in fact 4 times the 50 kilowatts Tauro devices or 2 times the 100 kilowatts devices. So you please be sure to just not overcome this 200 kilowatts of a max where you can realize this AC-DC chaining option. Yes, I think it's self-explanatory. If you just look at this drawing, if you would go from each inverter to the transformator separately, there would be a much higher distance to overcome, much more cabling required. So fewer AC cables, and that of course makes your overall calculation, your overall DCO costs more feasible. And also not only the cabling, also other AC components can be saved. That means you are not in need of any AC combiner boxes, or you need just one AC disconnector here before joining to the transformator. And therefore, also on the component level, not only on the cabling level, but also on the AC component level, you can therefore maximize your costs. And of course, one thing which is also clear, I think you have got more yield because you have got less cable losses and more power for one cable. That's the optimum you can do in order to guarantee these maximum yields. So much to the AC-DC chaining option. Another point how you can effectively save your BOS costs is with our integrated monitoring. That means the Fronius Tauro has got a data communication interface card integrated as standard. If you already know our Fronius Gen 24 Plus devices and the Pilot, you will find the same device also in our Fronius Tauro. That means the Fronius Tauro is standardized equipped with the Pilot as well. We have got many open interfaces here on the Pilot. So regards to commercial PV installations, it enables you a third-party provider monitoring, and also the hardware is standardized on board. I think that's important to mention, and there are no additional costs for your customers. And of course, like usual for every Fronius product, Fronius SolarWeb is integrated free of charge. That means you can use it in the standard version completely free of charge. And this is standardized integrated as well. You can also save your BOS costs with an integrated SPD. That means we have an integrated monitored surge protective device. This is effectively sitting here. It's mounted on a DIN rail and no additional box is required. That means you do not have to rely on a separate box. It's inbuilt into the inverter, and type 1 + 2 is integrated as standard. If you have special needs, special requirements, and if the SPT type 1+2 is not required, you can also more or less make a little bit of a downgrade to the SPT type 2 that can also be integrated into the device as an option as well, depending again on your customer needs and on your normative requirements in your countries. And many other customized features. One thing also, we can integrate an AC disconnector on the AC side. That means this is not compatible with the AC DC chaining option, but this AC disconnector can also be integrated X-Factory if you wish for that, and a remote control. That means a ripple control signal, if that is required, can also, we have got this 10 programmable digital IOs integrated into the device, and this can be used for ripple control signal. It means if your grid supplier wants to have insight or wants to have control over the PV power plant, that can be easily realized with our Fronius Tauro. Another thing we also focused a lot on was saving labor costs with easy installation. That means the Tauro is actually very easy to install. You see here one pre-series device on one of our Fronius sites. What is so special about installation and the Tauro? It's rapid installation technology. That means depending on the device configuration, whether it's a 50 kilowatt device or a 100 kilowatt device, with 2 or 3 persons are sufficient, and you can install it very easily. The direct connection, of course, if it's a Fronius Tauro Direct, you can directly connect the MC4 plugs ranging from 4 to 6 square millimeters to the Tauro. That makes it also very easy, and no additional structures are required. Just look at that picture. I think this is also kind of self-explanatory. It's horizontal laying on the ground, so horizontal mounting is also possible, and it's in unprotected outdoor area. It means you do not have to install an additional roof or an additional protection. You can really expose it to the direct unprotected outdoor area. And one video maybe I want to show you is about how easy and simple this is done with the Tauro. I hope you can see it here now. Just 6 screws into the wall. You can actually see me in the video. I am part of the video. A mounting plate, lightweight wall mounting plate, standardized also in the Tauro package, and then 3 persons are sufficient. Just snap it in, fix it with 2 screws, and the installation is more or less completed. So you see it couldn't be easier. I can imagine. I hope that you could hear me, my comments on the video. So basically, just to summarize, you see it's very easy. I think you couldn't make it easier. One thing also, this wall mounting plate, this lightweight wall bracket is also included if you're in need of that, if you want to install the Tauro on the wall. This is, of course, delivered X-Factory and standardized in the package. Okay, so much to the installation process of the Tauro. And now let's look about the OPEX costs. We've had the CAPEX costs. We have had the installation, commissioning, a little bit of look on this. And now we look on the OPEX costs, how we can save effectively money on that. The service concept, like usual at Fronius, we have a very fast and easy service. We have also the full quality support of our Fronius tech support. That means all belongings, also regarding the Tauro, are of course supported by us to 100%. What is so special about Tauro? So we basically do not have a complete device replacement. So in case there should be a service case, we make an exchange or a replacement of specific spare parts. And I would say the most likely spare part which will happen is the power stage, replacement of the power stage. You can see it here. That means around about 25 kilograms each, one power stage for 50 kilowatts, and you can replace it with one person. That means just imagine you do not need a whole crew going on site. You can just go on your own or send one of your employees to it, and that's also another key fact about the Tauro. This exchange, you have to unlock some screws and then swipe it out and take it out. And yes, it's a significant time and cost saving. That's the service concept of the Fronius Tauro. Yes, and how does we now enable this maximum yield? So we have got this double wall and cooling system. So we even went one step ahead with our active cooling technology. And now we also have, in addition, the so-called double wall. You can see it here on the picture. We want to really realize maximum service life despite the heat. It means the Tauro will guarantee you full power up to 50 degrees ambient temperature, and therefore responsible is the double wall system. You see it here on the front cover. We have got a double wall insulation, and that has got effectively a huge advantage. We have had extensive tests on that in our R&D, and they really underline that you can really expose the Tauro to direct sunlight. So positioning in sun is possible. And due to this double wall system, we have got a significant temperature decrease in the inside of our inverter. And I think therefore it makes it very, very interesting also for hotter areas or for any unprotected outdoor area installations. Yes, full performance up to 50 degrees ambient temperature is guaranteed and tested, of course. Therefore, we have got a very, very late power T rating. If it's getting too hot, like usual for every Fronius inverter, we just reduce our AC output power. And if the temperature increase does not stop at some point, the inverter, just as a safety mechanism, it stops operating unless it cools down again. And a longer service life, that means of components and devices, of course, actively cooled power electronics enables you a longer service life. Of course, the lifetime is extended of our products and solutions. And therefore, again, also one technical drawing, you see it here, how it works, the double wall system, and also with a radiator at the front side. Good, and also maybe one thing I also want to specifically point out on that, it's low cable losses due to high cross-section. I told you this is very important because we want to have cable cross-section. You have the possibility up to 204 square millimeters on the AC side. And also with daisy chaining, you can minimize those cable lengths of what's possible. And therefore also be aware of that cable losses, maybe 1 or 2%, might not have at first sight a very huge impact, but if you regard that on a very long lifespan for 20%, and again, these TCOs come here into play, that has got a huge impact. I will show you quickly also with an economic consideration. Yes. Here one example, maybe you have a different currency and different calculations. That's just a rough example I want to give you what that means. If you do not choose your correct cable cross section, here you have got different options, 240 square meters, ranging starting from 95 square millimeters. And also we have taken into consideration the losses over 20 years. That means effectively the cable losses due to the wrong cable cross section you might have choose, and you can also easily avoid. And I think what's very impressive on that, if you take a higher cable cross section, you can decrease these losses up to 25,000 euros if you just take a bigger cable cross section compared to the smallest option here with 95 square meters. And maybe just give you that on the way. Please be also aware about this topic, because that's again also money of your investors on your return investment. And of course, that also comes back to you, because you are then responsible for the project design, for the system design, and losses have a huge impact on the overall yield. Just be aware of that with that rough calculations. And to summarize, maybe all the points I mentioned before, what is the most important thing? Maybe for the Tauro, it's very, very flexible in the system design. It means we have got this central and this decentral topology. It means you can really decide on your own. You can make the Tauro fit optimally for your commercial PV project. You have got on the DC side options. You have also on the AC side a lot of options like this AC-DC chaining, which I think is a very, very good thing. And if you make a clever system design, you can also save effectively money on that with the right Tauro configuration. Monitoring is also standardized, integrated. That means it's also not that usual in the commercial PV sector, as well as the SPD types 1+2. That's all in our Tauro Pact. And on the right side, the easy installation. Yes, I think you can remember the video, and also this horizontal laying is possible with the Tauro, and it's exposing to unprotected outdoor areas. And the last point, one-person service. We here at Fronius, we really focus on high-quality service. So that's also something which makes Fronius very popular, and we are very well known and have a very good reputation. We really provide full service throughout the whole lifetime of the product. And of course, you can call our tech support anytime or use the Fronius Solar SOS tool if there is any error or should be anything about the product. We take care about you, and we do not leave you alone on that. Okay, and that was it so far from my side. Before I now close, of course, like usual, I want to ask Chris, our chat support for today, if he received any questions during the webinar. Chris, can you hear us?
Yes, hello everybody. Thank you for writing down your questions so far. And yeah, we got a lot of questions, and I just wanted to pick out a few of them. So one of them is actually regarding the SPD. the surge protection device. Sandro already mentioned it is integrated as standard, type 1 and 2. And yes, it is both for DC and AC as standard integrated. That's what I wanted to add on this topic. And yeah, two organizational topics I also wanted to point out. The first one is this webinar is being recorded, which means that we will send you the recording in the next few days together with the the presentation Sandro just showed us in the last few minutes. And so this means you can, of course, rewatch it if you want, and also would be very happy if you can forward this webinar or this presentation to your colleagues, for example, to those who were interested in this webinar, but they haven't got time, for example. So of course you can then forward this webinar recording. And another organizational topic I wanted to point out is the upcoming trainings. So of course, right now we are still in lockdown, unfortunately. So we have to do the webinars from home, but of course they should return hopefully in the summer somewhere. And yeah, also there we want to provide you with full commercial trainings as well. So a whole training day just for the Tauro. We are preparing this right now, and therefore I want to invite you right now to check out our homepage. So as soon as we have the dates for the training days in the summer, they will be uploaded there, and you will be able to check them out. So yeah, maybe this is something you can look forward to. Yeah, and with that, I will then hand back to Sandro for the final words.
Yes, thanks a lot, Chris, for these questions. Maybe one thing I forgot to mention, which is also maybe a very important thing, availability. So we will launch the Tauro actually in calendar week 2021. We will start with our Fronius Tauro Echo and with the Fronius Tauro Standard. We will start in calendar week 36, 2021. So a few weeks ahead, but the SOS dates are coming closer and closer. And therefore, we're really looking forward into a very interesting future. Where we really will focus a lot on the Tauro. So that was for today, just a rough basic frame for you, introduction to the Tauro. But of course, we will educate you to the maximum possible, or give you the opportunity to educate yourself on the Tauro, and of course, that you find the best solution for your customers, and you satisfy yourself, and also your customers. Okay, then I have also come to an end now. So thanks a lot again for participating. I wish you all the best. Please stay healthy, stay fit. I hope you already had a good start into 2021. Looking forward to seeing you in one of our next online sessions, or hopefully very soon a presence training where we really can maybe spend one day to the max on talking and educating on our products and solutions. Yes, have a good evening and also a good start into this week, and see you soon. Bye-bye.